at C.
It is recording now.
Okay, so we're good to go. Okay, we left off at 2C. Brian, do you want to take this one since this was the team that worked closely with our staff?
Yep, just wanted to really give a special thanks out to Nicole Farnan. She's a member of our activities advisory committee. She spearheaded the Winter Fest this year, organized staff, our public works, our police department, and really helped us get through making that such an awesome event. It was well attended. Probably would guess that we had 500-600 people that showed up. Everyone that I talked to seemed to have a great time. And it was a really successful event. And so just wanted to thank Nicole for all the work she put in as a volunteer who lives here and was helping out our town.
Very good. One on is Trish Clunan online?
Yes.
We have a superstar in our midst. She is one of our councilwomen. She is dialing in remotely because she's working for the Red Cross in town where we had the fire. So kudos to you, Trish, for going above and beyond. We appreciate what you do for our community locally and regionally. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, moving on here. Public hearing, Mr. Forbel, you want to?
Yes. All right, I will call to order the public hearing for tentatively identified ordinance 1531, amending ordinance numbers 1519 and 1527, reappropriating certain monies for fiscal year 2022. And as we get started, I'll turn it over to Chris Greathouse to give a presentation.
Good evening, council and members of the public. This is a general housekeeping item that we do every year. It is required by the charter to advise council when the budget is going to be exceeded by $5,000 and 10% in any particular classification. We did do a budget amendment in July, which has facilitated much of those differences that were anticipated. And so tonight's annual reappropriation of the 2022 budget only includes a few items that you can see on the screen. It's also posted on the website as part of the public hearing. We anticipate many of these items will be covered by their related revenue. So the revenue exceeded budget, it wasn't necessary to report. But in the instance of tax administration, this is because our real estate transfer tax is in excess of what we budgeted. And so therefore the fees to collect it are also in excess. Same thing happened with EIT or earned income tax. You can see where I'm estimating those differences to be. The same is to be said for the fire protection and prevention item, the foreign fire insurance that came in over above budget by $51,000. Unfortunately, there's an expense item that goes along with it. And because of that, I have to report on that this evening as well. Again, it's an in and out on the revenue side. It'll have zero effect over the total budget. The culture line item, 451, this is us recording the in-kind donations. Last council meeting, you received a presentation from the Heritage and Cultural Center, and they reported about $46,000 in in-kind donations. You can see where I have placed those in the budget. And again, I will increase the revenue line item. This is more of an accounting adjustment than anything for the end of the year. But it will show that the budget is over and above what was anticipated. So those three items, again, will have zero effect on the bottom line. There are corresponding revenue items to go with them. The police department, as you know, we are anticipating hiring up to 4 officers in the coming year. We will swear in 1 next meeting. This overtime is to compensate for those officers being out of the lineup. Additionally, their legal services, we're in the process of negotiating their collective bargaining agreement, as well as other items that had fallen outside our estimation for the current year. Also, traffic control devices, we had an increase in electric costs. And so that particular line item, you'll see it in excess. All of those 2 items will be covered by under budget items in those corresponding departments. And so again, there will not be a increased effect on the general budget. Are there any questions on this housekeeping item? Then I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Mr. Corwell.
Thank you. Since there are no questions from council, we will open it up to comments or questions from the public. Anybody in the room? Seeing none. Anybody online?
I have received 3 names and addresses. They haven't said what they'd like to speak on. I can ask them.
If anybody online would like to speak as to this ordinance, please indicate as such in the chat box. If we don't see anything in a second or two, we can move on. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, is there any public comment on the upcoming agenda items only? We'll start here in the room. If anyone here, please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address. Okay, no one here? Anyone online? Did we figure out, Sandra, if any of them?
Yes, Marcia Caliendo, at 10529 Abbey Lane would like to make a comment.
Okay. Did you send her a microphone?
Absolutely. She has the mic if she'd like it.
Okay. Go ahead, Marcia.
Hi, good evening. It's very disappointing to see on the agenda
Yeah,
item.
we can't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me yet?
She was
Nope.
talking. She's
Uh,
not muted.
No, we're muted. Is this on?
Maybe
Hi,
muted
Trish.
on her end.
Trish Coonan can hear her. We just can't.
Or
Can you log in maybe?
Sorry?
Can you like log into this? Just with the audio up here. Maybe Marcia, can you pause for a minute? And we'll see if we can get the audio.
Can we amend next year?
Bear with us again, everybody.
Audio.
Yeah,
Gentleman in the back has a recommendation. If Trish can hear her, if Trish turns her mic on, we'll be able to hear.
we wouldn't be able to hear. her.
We wouldn't come through.
That's why I
Yeah, I'm
suggested
trying to make mine work.
Brian try to log on and then we can audio there.
My mic is on. Can you hear me?
Recording.
We can hear.
So we're,
Mute the mics. I don't know if that's how to do it. Then I have this muted. But it's,
Maybe mute the mic on the. You muted your mic, right?
Should I mute my audio?
See if that.
Then Brian. Can you hear us now? In town hall? No, I got a thumbs up.
she can, go ahead, Marcia.
Oh, okay, hi. Technology is great until it's not.
yeah,
Um,
you're being patient.
No problems, no worries. I was sorry to see that an agenda item tonight on accepting the resignation of Kim Zachary from town council. And I just wanted to thank Kim for all of her work she's done for us. She's made the town a better place. She helped spearhead McMail, transparency, these meetings being recorded. She also spearheaded opening up applications for committees to the public so that we knew when there was an opening. I just can't thank her enough for all of her work, and she's sorely going to be missed. And thank you, Kim, for everything you've done.
Thank you, Marcia. Do we have anyone else?
I don't know where, if anybody else would like to speak on this, please. Okay, Deb Sagan would, yes. Can you let Deb Sagan speak? And then also Irene Caliendo would also like to speak on this item, please.
Gotcha. Can you give Deb the host or the microphone?
I unmuted. Can you hear me yet?
Yep. We can hear you, Deb.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Sorry, I cannot be there in person, but I would also like to recognize Councilperson Zachary for the contributions that she's made to our towns since she's been here. Being a part of some of the committees and work closely with her. All the things that Marcia mentioned, you know, I recognize as well, and she will be sorely missed on council. And I hope that council will continue the initiatives that Councilperson Zachary has begun and made McCandless an even greater place to live. So thank you to Councilperson Zachary, and I wish her well. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Deb.
Irene.
Yes, Irene is next.
Okay.
You have it on.
She's still muted. Irene, if you would like to. Okay, there you go. You can go ahead, Irene.
Good evening. Well, it's going to sound like we coordinated this and we really did not.
We know.
But yes, but I want to give my heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Zachary. She worked very hard for, I think it's been 7 years, and she has done a lot to improve the operations of, I believe, council, and allowed more community people to be able to participate in our government in a more proactive way. I appreciate everything she's done. I almost always agreed with her, but even when I did not, I know that it came from a position of what she thought was good and the best thing for McCandless, and had nothing to do with a personal agenda. So thank you, if my Kim, and please keep in touch with our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. And one more.
Yes, I believe Paul Heckman, 10529 Abbey Lane as well.
Good evening. I would just also like to thank Kim for all that she has done for the town of McCandless in her 7 years. It's always tough following up everybody else who has said everything you could possibly say on the matter. But I would like to just take that moment to congratulate her for the things that she has helped come to pass here in McCandless to make us a better place at this time. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Paul. Anyone else want to make a comment? Hearing none.
No, there were no other
Okay.
requests.
Very good.
There's one in the audience.
I think there's more.
Do we have someone in the? Oh, yeah, just name and address.
Yes, I'm going to take off my mask. Sorry. My doctor said I had to wear it for a little while longer. I'm just getting over COVID. But anyway, my name is Rita Martin, 10585 Grubbs Road. Yeah, I'm going to thank you for this opportunity. I would like to take a moment to thank Kim Zachary for her dedicated and tireless work on council. I know that McCandless will miss her talents, her leadership, and her energy. Ms. Zachary was my Ward 1 rep. And for the record, she was able to accomplish for our community in just 8 years. She was on council, 4 of which as president, begs recognition. She brought McCandless into the 21st century, whether you realize it or not. She spearheaded the change of McCandless from a stodgy, do little or do the same thing place into the council that we have today, which is more forward-thinking and certainly trying new things. Just to mention a couple of her accomplishments. The Environmental Committee was her baby. It still continues to do such great work, encouraging tree planting for runoff, bringing in speakers to address everything from ticks to solar energy. The Technology Committee, but I can see we need a little bit more help with that. She tried to bring that into the 21st century because our computer system was so shabby. And she foremost and most of all brought transparency. She put that budget on the website in a format that I could actually understand, and I'm not a numbers girl. So that was great. She pushed for a town Facebook page, the town website update, Savvy Citizen, all these means of communication to our citizens. And probably the most important initiative was her push for community inclusion. Instead of the same 30 people serving year after year on boards and committees, just being shuffled around, she reached out into the community and she said, hey, do you have a talent? Do you have something you can help us with? Come on board. You can apply and you can do this. And she set up a rotation so that it wasn't the same people. You have to get off after a certain amount of time, bring new talent in. This was just never done here. And I'm so grateful for all that she did. These are just some of the changes. And I remember her saying in a moment of frustration, if one more person tells me we can't do it this way because it's never been done like that before, I'm going to scream. I remember her saying that after a meeting. Thanks for standing up to the naysayers, Kim, wherever you are. Thank you for everything you accomplished. You always had the community and the citizens in your heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Anyone else online? No. Anyone else here? Nope. Okay. Up next, the meeting minutes from the November 28th meeting. They were in our packets. Does anybody have any edits or changes or comments?
Just a comment that in the appointments, the name should be filled in, who was appointed.
Even though it's in the motion, but just to be
Yes,
housekeeping.
it's still
Yeah.
blank in the minutes and
Okay.
they should be in there.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else want anything changed or have comments? Hearing none. Okay. So the motion would be as amended. I guess.
So
you
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting of town council minutes of November 28th, 2022 as amended.
should- Okay, second, Kathy, everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. I believe the motion carries. Yeah, 4-2. We didn't hear there. Do we need to get? Because can't. Trish is online.
Aye.
I mean, we only need 4.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I just didn't want to. Okay,
We should make sure that where she voted.
You can hear. Yeah, it says.
She unmuted to try to say something, I think.
Okay.
She put some in the dialogue box.
Well, we can get that later. We don't have
Yeah.
to wait.
okay, very good.
Just for future votes, we'll make sure.
Unanimous.
All right, reports of committee, Public Safety Committee. Dr. Rapa, could you take us through these?
Yes, thank you. Let's start with the chief's report. This month was kind of very active, wasn't it, Chief?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought maybe you might want to put a plug in for our partnering with community outreach and also talk a little bit about some of the training.
Absolutely. So the month of November, as Dr. Rapa said, was busy. First paragraph, you see that our officers, if you see them bearded out there in the community, we have no shave November, and I've extended it to December. Because we're raising money to support a good cause, a local family here in the town who had a diagnosis, young girl, daughter, I believe leukemia. We're trying to raise some funds for the family. So they're growing their beards out. If anyone in the community sees it, that's why.
Second paragraph talks about we're partnering with North Hills Community Outreach once again to raise or to collect toys, toiletries, things that they need at the North Hills Community Outreach. They give me a list every year. And right now our big box down in the police department is overflowing. We probably need to remove some things and encourage more donations, but generous community is once again coming through for us in that regard. Training is the next paragraph here. Of course, Sergeant Madden, who you folks just saw there, he continued to train right up to the bell. I think he will. Maintaining the certifications to the very end. We always have officers training in DUI. The DUI laws are, changing, and we want to stay up with the times. We have a couple officers that are certified in crash reconstruction. We had some training in that in November. One of our officers is a drug recognition expert. He did some training. We had an officer, several officers actually train in sovereign citizens. It's a rare interaction here in the town, but it happens, and I've pulled over sovereign citizens too, and they can be a challenge. Myself and Detective Sergeant Egley also attended a training put on by the FBI in executive leadership, about a week long. Some great, I think they pushed training with emotional intelligence was the theme of the week, and it was very good training. And I'm sure I'm missing some training, but you get the idea of the training a lot. We also participated in evidence destruction this month. It doesn't happen every month, maybe every 6 months. And whenever that comes up, we take advantage, and it enables our officers to clear out the evidence room, get rid of some evidence that we can't destroy ourselves. Finally, on the list here, the North Hills DUI Task Force. We participate in that every time they have a DUI, either stationary or roving. November 18th, we participated in a roving DUI patrol. And if you folks, you look at that last paragraph, should answer any questions you have regarding that and how many arrests and such were made. So it was a busy month. And can I make a plug? We have a Citizens Police Academy we're trying to attend. I'm going to make a plug. We're trying to put together our second one. We have graduates. They're eyeballing me right now. Hopefully we can put that on in February and March. The application period is open. It's official, and it's on the town site. It's on the police department Facebook page. Applications can be picked up downstairs at the police department. I think for someone who can't make it in, we could probably mail them to them too, but we require them to come in and turn them in, hand them in person. And I think that deadline is the end of the month. Any questions?
On that, what I'd like, I think that the Citizens Police Academy would even be, we'd even have a bigger microphone if we had those leaders in our community, whether it's an influential reverend, or whether it's someone at North Allegheny or at Passavant, or just whoever would be in a leader in our community, or an opinion shaper. If anyone knows someone would fit that, you could let Chief Hawk know, and he can maybe shoot him an email to see if they'd be interested in something like that. So
awesome. Any questions, folks, about the report or anything else?
what's a sovereign citizen?
Technical definition.
I'll
get it wrong, but basically, and jump in if I get it wrong, Steve, I believe they don't recognize the Constitution and maybe the federal government, something like that.
It's true. Every municipality deals with them in some form or fashion. There's all sorts of resources online that they'll file with the courts, and they're usually summarily dismissed. It just gums the works up a little bit.
If you ever want to talk about my experiences, Mr. President.
We'll get it offline.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They're a challenge, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. No other questions? Okay, let's move on to the fire marshal's report. It's in your packet, but I would like, Weston, if you would speak first. I have to give you accolades for the banquet.
Thank you.
The fireman it was wonderful. The entertainment afterward was just as wonderful. But nice job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, and I just thought maybe you might want to comment on a few things. Yeah, so I don't have anything added to the report, but if anybody has any questions, I'm more happy to answer it for you. You want to say anything about the fire prevention training for the schools, I think? The fire prevention for the month. So you all know that October was Fire Prevention Month. And we did have record-breaking kids. It was, I want to say over 2,300 kids that we were in place of. And yeah, and I expect it to increase next year. So, because there were a couple areas we weren't able to get to this year. But yeah, we'll definitely be back. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
And also thank you for talking to WPXI about
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
safety and space heaters and things of that nature. And, I think that was good information to put out to our region along with our
Thanks.
community.
Yeah, they did a good job. Thank you. Anything else? Any questions? Anybody online? Thank you very much. Okay, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Moving on to building permits report. It's in your packet, nothing really outstanding there. It's Harper Court. Questions about anything there? Okay, code enforcement, again, the report is in your packet. Doesn't look like a very active month. Nothing out of the ordinary there either. Any questions? Okay. So I will ask Captain President.
You want to run through the liaison reports, Kathy?
Okay. Personnel,
They're both. I guess.
personnel board, we did not have a meeting. Volunteer fire steering committee, Mr. Singer.
We did not have a meeting either.
Okay. Any public comment on public safety? No, then I will to Mr. Singer.
All right, reports of facilities management, public works activities. Jeff, do you have anything you want to indulge? The leaves are picked up. Thank you. We appreciate it. I heard there was a lot of salt sheds of Mount.
Gray over here, over here.
How many truckloads and tons? Tell us again, because there are people that don't read.
So we finished the LEAF program 10 days earlier than we did last year. We finished on the 5th. Was off to a horrible start because all the leaves fell in 9 days. So we did have an issue with one of the leaf trucks broke down twice, which we have 2 tow behinds, but one leaf truck does a lot of work and we only have 3, but we made do with what we had. The paving program, we finalized the list. That's gonna probably, the specs being written right now, we're working on the spec that'll be sent out in the middle of January. This year with the paving program, so we can get a little more accurate pricing. I think we're going to have the bids due a little later in the spring or late winter versus earlier. So we don't have the escalator. Hopefully the escalator is not that much of an issue. This previous year, we did have an escalator charge about 7%. We did budget for that though, so. 2023 construction and special projects, we're in the process of planning, or actually scheduling, I'm sorry. We have about between 44 and 46 special projects for 2023 for Public Works, not to mention roughly 2,200 feet of concrete pipe we plan on putting in the ground starting January 1. Grubbs Road sidewalk project out here is about 75% complete. The sidewalks up in the flats, we're waiting for a start date. I don't exactly know what that is quite yet. And that's about all I have. Anybody have any questions? Great. Thank you. And I'll see you all. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to liaison reports, Environmental Advisory Committee, Mr. Casey.
The report is in your packet. Anybody have any questions?
Pending no questions, we'll move on to the technology committee. Dr. Rocco.
Our meeting was very short this month. We're still working with the website. I think we're gonna roll it out in March. Is that correct?
Probably a little later in the spring, early
Little
summer.
spring.
Yep.
And we're kind of at a holding pattern on our traffic readers. We're waiting to see what's gonna happen with Zapala's office, because as you know, all the other municipalities are kind of in the same situation we are, so we're kind of waiting that out till after the first year, hopefully we'll hear something. Also, we're kind of on a holding pattern, looking at our software, we're looking at Springbrook, and right now, until we can see if it's compatible and be able to work with our tax software as well, right? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Trish, is that right? So we're kind of on hold that, to see, there's still some questions and things that have to be answered, and so we haven't made a final decision on that. I think that was just about all.
Yeah, it was a short meeting this month.
Very short meeting.
Any questions? Okay, next up is stormwater management ad hoc. There was no meeting. So at this time, I'll ask, are there any public comment on facilities management? Is there anything online?
Nobody has indicated such.
Okay,
Trish Coonan has just turned her video on.
that's fine. We're gonna yield to Councilwoman Clunin for the Services Committee.
Okay, there. So the first,
If we can hear her.
No, we have to go back to this.
We have to go back to the other one. Would it be easier just to maybe let,
I could just run through it.
Trish, would you be okay if somebody here ran through it?
Okay, very
Thank you,
good.
Trish.
Okay, reports of the Services Committee, liaison reports, Sanitary Authority, Mr. Casey.
The reports in your packet. Any questions?
Thank you. And then I'm not sure, who's the second for the Ambulance Authority? Trish. Oh.
It's in our packet.
It's in our
It's in our
packet.
packets.
I do have one thing to announce. I was sent this today by our state rep-elect, Mr. Venkat, that he has already, before being sworn in office, got us a $40,000 grant for the McCandless Franklin Park Ambulance Authority for advanced airway and personal protective equipment. So Arvin, good work, and haven't even been sworn in yet, so keep it coming. Public Library,
Minutes are in your packet. Any questions?
okay. Any comments on the services? Those here with us or those in the audience? No, okay. No old business, new business. I'll just read this out, okay. Notification of a public hearing on December 19th on an ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the town of McCandless at Part 1, Title 1, General Provisions to reapportion the wards of the town of McCandless as required by the Municipal Reapportionment Act of 1974 and Section 103 councilmanic districts of the McCandless Home Rule Charter into compact and contiguous wards as nearly equal in population as practicable following the reporting of the 2020 census.
Awful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next up is the fixing the real estate tax for 2023. Does anybody have a, or you want to give us the 2 cents?
There have been no changes since the public hearing. The public hearing comment was made by the fire department requesting additional funds for Peebles for fuel. We have made no changes again per the public hearing. If anyone has any questions, I am happy to address them at this time.
Are we doing the right? This is the real estate tax? you
This is
mentioned?
this is the 2023 budget and the setting of the real estate
I
tax
get it
rate.
together. I see.
Yes.
Gotcha. Comments, anybody?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve tentatively identified ordinance number 1529, fixing the real estate tax rate for the year 2023 and approving the town budget for the year 2023.
Second.
Second, Jason. Any comments before we vote? Okay. None here. Okay, everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Next up, real estate tax. Do you want to take
This-
that one too?
Yes, this is a housekeeping item. This PA state has asked local municipalities to either enact an ordinance or a resolution. Per our town code, we will be exercising the ordinance. It is a housekeeping item to allow for first-time parcel owners, if they do not receive a tax, to have their penalty and interest waived. If there's any questions, we had a public hearing on this last meeting as well with no public comment.
I'll make a motion to approve the tentatively identified ordinance number 1530, amending articles 337.02, real estate tax, discount and penalty rate of the town's code of ordinances.
Second.
Second, Mr. Casey. Anyone, any comments before we vote? Hearing none. Everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next, you want to get?
The next item on the agenda is an annual resolution to accept the three volunteer fire departments listings of active firefighters to allow them to claim up to a $500 credit on their earned income tax if they're working, or if they are retired, a $300 credit on their real estate tax for the year's tax year 2022. You have the resolution in your packet, as well as the three lists from the fire chiefs that have been certified. Are there any questions? Again, this is an annual occurrence.
Hearing none. Dr. Rafa, please.
Motion to adopt tentatively identified resolution number 23 of 2022, approving the eligibility of certified members of the volunteer fire companies serving the town to receive an earned income tax credit not to exceed $500 or real estate tax credit not to exceed $300 for the 2022 tax year per ordinance 1509 and 1516.
We have a second.
Second.
Mr. Singer. Any comments before we vote? Okay, everyone in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oh, that was an aye. Motion carries. Okay.
The next item is a resolution. Again, this is a housekeeping item. It occurs every year. Once the budget has been passed, town council approves that competitive bidding can be foregone in the instance when the service contract is expected to be less than 0.25%, and it can be approved by the town manager. So now that we have passed the budget, the 0.25% for 2023 will be $43,700. If you have any questions on this resolution, I'm happy to answer them. Again, it's something that is set per the charter.
Motion to adopt the tentatively identified resolution 24, a resolution establishing the amount when competitive bidding shall not be required for contracts for labor, material, supplies, or services.
Second, Mr. Casey. Any comments or questions before we vote? Okay, everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
For my
Keep
final item on the agenda this evening, you have again an annual resolution that is passed setting the limits for the contributions by the police officers towards their pension plan. We will be setting it again in 2023 at 5%. This is per their pension obligation.
Make a motion.
Please.
Make a motion to adopt tentatively identified resolution 25 of the 2022, a resolution establishing the rate of participant contributions for the town of McCandless Police Pension Plan at 5% for 2023.
Second.
Second, Mr. Singer. Any questions before we vote or comments? Okay. Everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is just housekeeping for the retirement of K-9 Officer Joy to transfer ownership. Please.
Motion to adopt tentatively identified resolution 26, authorizing the retirement and transfer of ownership of K-9 Joy.
Second.
Second, Mr. Casey. Comments, questions? Okay. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carries. Okay, now we have 2 openings on the planning commission.
So I'm the liaison. I'll make the motion to appoint Sean Klein as a member of the planning commission for a full term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Second, Dr. Rapa. Okay. Everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next one here is motion to appoint Dan Cordum as member of the planning commission for a full term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Second. Everyone in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next up, Mr. Casey, you want to handle that one?
Okay, motion to appoint Christopher Eddy as a member of the McCandless Township Sanitary Authority for a term to expire December 31st, 2027.
Second.
Second, Mr. Singer. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Okay, next up, the resignation of council member Zachary. We heard some very kind words that I wholeheartedly agree with in the beginning of our meeting. Ms. Zachary did want me to read her resignation letter, so it would become part of the record. Due to extenuating family circumstances that require me to relocate out of the town, it is with great sadness that I resign my position as Ward 1 McCandless Council Representative, as well as all associated positions effective December 3rd, 2022. It has been both an honor and privilege to serve this community. The relationships and experiences of the past 8 years will remain with me a lifetime. I humbly thank you for trusting me to represent you and lead McCandless forward. I would like to challenge and charge all of you to participate in local government to make the difference you want to see. McCandless has become a different and I think better place. Thank you to everyone who believed it could happen and then did the work to make it happen. Thank you, Kim. I did want to announce that I've asked the Heritage Center, along with our communications director, to commission a plaque for Ms. Zachary, because she was our first female president of the town council. So we'll have that. If she's back in town, we'll have her here. If not, we'll send some nice pictures and video along. But that was one thing I think the least we could do for what she's done for our town. So that being said, open for a motion to accept the resignation.
I sadly make the motion to accept the resignation of council member Kim Unger.
Second, Mr. Singer. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So the next, now that we have an opening, we have 45 days to find her successor.
Yes.
So I think it was laid out in the packet for everybody. Do you want to give the big picture for those that maybe didn't?
Yeah, with the timeline and our public meeting schedule, the expectation was to tomorrow we will put the information about the application process on our website and our social media. We will accept applications until January 2nd, 2023. And at that point, our plan would be to interview the applicants prior to our December 9th meeting. I'm sorry.
January 9th.
Keep saying that. Yeah, the January 9th, 2023 council meeting. We would interview the council members and at that meeting, appoint the new council member with them to be sworn in at the January 23rd.
And the requirements are they have to reside in Ward 1.
Yes.
And they have to match the registration of the council person that resigned, which would be
Registered Republican.
So for those that live in Ward 1, it's registered Republican, please consider putting your application in. Is everyone from council comfortable with that sort of timeline and process and stuff? Okay. Trish? Very good. Okay.
We don't need a motion or anything.
No, I think that was just yes, set the path. Yeah, set the path forward. So, okay, wrapping up here. Is any general public comment before we adjourn into executive session? Yes, Abby. Name and address.
Abby Lukostic, 94 Longview, also representing the Heritage and Cultural Center. I just wanted to publicly thank the McCandless Police Department, Peebles Volunteer Fire Company, Ingomar Volunteer Fire Company, and Highland Volunteer Company, Volunteer Fire Company. On December 3rd, we had a breakfast with Santa at McCandless Crossing, which brought in over 100 kids. And McCandless Police Department escorted Santa on 3 fire trucks to come greet the kids. And dancers from Michelle's Dance Center performed that morning as well. So it was a bit rainy, but overall, it was a wonderful kickoff event to Winterfest, which happened later that day. So I wanted to thank all of those who participated in that. Councilwoman Clunin also came. Unfortunately, she missed Santa. It was a short morning because it was cold and rainy. And while I'm up here, I would like to say thank you to Councilwoman Zachary for her years of service in our community. And the plaque details are forthcoming. So thank you all.
Any more general public comments? Please. Name and address.
Good evening, Stuart Strickland, 8219 Eleanor Street. This is very simple. One of the reasons I come to these meetings is give me a reason to come over here and recycle my glass and my cardboard. So while I'm here, I'll see the meeting. I got rid of my glass, but the cardboard dumpsters are very full. I cannot do that. So I got to take my cardboard back to my house and figure out where to put it until I know when it's going to be emptied again. Can you please attend to that detail? I don't know who does it or how, but you can't do anything if you take a look at it right now. So that's all. But thank you for having that service.
Thank you for your comments. Any other general public comments before we adjourn to executive session? Please, come on up, name and address.
John Harrison, 1473 Hedwig. I'm not sure if anybody on council or the police department drives on Babcock Boulevard. I'm sure nobody does and tries to pull out on the McKnight Road. But can we please try and get the lights fixed that it lets out more than 4 cars at a time? I've sat at that light multiple mornings during rush hour to try and go south coming off of Babcock, and it lets 4 cars out, sometimes 5 cars out. Cars are backed out all the way to the industrial park. And and you watch people when as soon as the lights turn in red, at least another 2 or 3 cars comes out. We're just waiting to have an accident happen. So can we look at something has changed recently in that intersection? The other intersection that's bad is the one right in front of Lowe's coming out of Passman Hospital. The same thing, exact same thing happens. And it's during rush hour times. And there's times that you can sit at that light and it doesn't change. So there's obviously something wrong. I'm not sure if it's a state thing. Does it fall to the borough? Whose responsibility is it? So can we please get that looked at? And it's only going to get worse as winter comes because the roads are icy and so let's do the right thing and get something fixed. Thanks.
Sir, are you talking about the intersection that's right across from Perrymont?
No, the intersection that, well, I guess that would be Perrymont. Yeah, where Babcock comes in off of from Passman Hospital to that intersection there, and you would go left to go south.
Okay.
And all the time. And the signage is also messed up that people multiple times miss the turn coming down Babcock to go towards the hospital, and people are in the wrong lane. So we need to do something before it becomes very ugly.
And you're right, even from Perrymont to McKnight.
It's the exact same thing.
2 or 3 cars.
Yes.
Like change very fast.
And I don't know, something has changed of recent, it seems to have gotten worse. And it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. when you sit there and if you sit there, if you're 4 cars back, you may not be getting through the intersection. So I'm not sure if it's something the Public Works needs to look at, the police need to look at, but we greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Look into it. Thank you for the comment.
I believe Jeff Sagan has a comment as well.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to recognize Public Works for the job that they did on the leaf collection, because I know in my neighborhood, people were wondering about it.
Hey, Deb, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
I'm talking.
Yes.
Okay. So I just said I wanted to publicly thank Public Works for the job that they did on the leaf collection, because I know in my neighborhood, people were confused about when the leaves were being collected, but I referred them to the chart and that was very helpful. And, you know, they were collected in a timely manner, and also recognize the connectivity of the sidewalk that's being built. I recently, I was out of town for a couple of weeks and I returned and pleasantly surprised today to see the bridge going in. And again, accolades to Councilperson Zachary, because we fought for the sidewalks to be initiated there and receive that money. And I hope that the connectivity projects will continue. Being a part of the activities committee now, you know, I hope that we can work together with some of the other committees. And I know I've talked to Councilperson Casey about the connectivity along Pine Creek. So I would just wanted to put a plug in to see that continue, so that maybe we could apply for grant monies if the county offers them again this spring. And I'd be glad to work on that with anybody that would like to initiate it on the administrative or council side. So thank you very much and have a happy holiday season.
Thank you, Deb.
Mr. Madden and Joy, they have brought so much goodwill, and I hope that we are going to get another Joy. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any more general public comments from those here with us or those online? Nope, seeing none. Okay, we're now going to adjourn an executive session to discuss real estate litigation and personnel matters. No further action will be taken. Thank you. And thanks everybody for being patient tonight with our IT problems. You hit me up with some daughter. What's the prices, right? Who's been talking to Rich? Can we?
Yeah,
We'll just call her.
We have
We'll do
another
it here.
executive session.
Yeah, we'll try to make this